Καλησπέρα σας. Το Fortune Greece επιστρέφει με μια πάρα πολύ ενδιαφέρουσα συζήτηση. Σήμερα έχουμε τη χαρά να φιλοξενούμε τον Peter Vesterbacka. Είναι ο επενδυτής και επιχειρηματίας που έγινε γνωστός από το Angry Birds και το Slush και βρίσκεται στη χώρα μας γιατί έχει διπλό στόχο. Ο ένας είναι να συμβάλλει στην καταπολέμηση του δημογραφικού προβλήματος, ένα από τα μεγαλύτερα προβλήματα στην Ελλάδα και στην Ευρώπη, αλλά και να βοηθήσει τα Παναθήναια, το μεγάλο φεστιβάλ καινοτομίας, το οποίο ξεκίνησε φέτος με μεγάλη επιτυχία. So, Peter, welcome to Athens.
Hey, thanks. Great to be here. I'm super good. So I think that it's always great to be in Athens. So yeah.
Yeah, and you have visited Athens a lot of
Yeah,
times.
this is like third time this year, and probably I'll be back, like sooner rather than later. So yeah, always good to be here.
So great. I started my introduction mentioning that one of the biggest problems in Europe nowadays is the demographics.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
And also is a big issue in Greece too.
Yes.
I know that your new venture, your startup now, focus on this.
Yes.
Why?
Yeah. So basically, we have solved many kind of like the big problems in Europe and in Finland. And I mean, I always start by saying that Finland is known for having the best education on the planet. The education system is like super good. So that's like the foundation for everything. And also then if you look at the society, I mean, Finland has been ranked the happiest country on the planet 8 years in a row. So it's not like once or twice, but 8 times. So it's not a coincidence. So all of that is like very good. But then, and we have also, I mean, with Slush, we built that into the biggest and best startup event on the planet. Last year, we had over 4 trillion in venture capital. So it's the biggest gathering of venture capital, like any given time, anywhere in the world. And I always say that, like last time I checked Helsinki, it's in Europe. So Europe is actually winning. So many people think that, we can't compete with, America and, China, and everything. But actually, I think that we are winning. But we have a big problem in Finland and actually also maybe even bigger here in Greece. And it's our demographic development. We don't have enough young people. I mean, birth rates have been very, very low. In Finland, it's also here. Actually, it's not just Europe, all of the developed markets.
Although the economy is strong in Finland, you have this problem.
Yeah, let's say that the economy is okay. It should be much stronger, but I think that then what we need to do is we need to do something about getting more young people. And birth rates, even if birth rates would improve, it will take 20 years. So it's kind of like too late. And also, I mean, if you look at Greece, exact same problem. And then, of course, a big problem for Greece was that during the crisis, a lot of young people left. So we have a big diaspora, which is problem but also opportunity. Yes. And we'll get to that. But then what we started doing 5 years ago, we looked at that but there are many countries. You looked at like Vietnam, 2 million new Vietnamese born every year. We looked at Uzbekistan when they regained their independence after Soviet oppression in early 90s. They were 90 million people. Now they are like almost 40. So very young population
in Asia.
Yeah, all over Asia, Africa, the emerging markets. But they don't have, they can't offer fantastic education for all of their young people. We have fantastic education, and we have actually in Finland, in our high schools and vocational schools, we have more than 20,000 starting slots every year unfilled. So you could say that there is massive educational waste because, if you have then like a classroom and you have a teacher, 20 desks, and if only like 4 kids sit in the desks, it's not very good. Yeah. If you can fill the 20 desks with, young people, fantastic, and it's no additional cost. And I just read that you are closing 5% of the schools here in Greece because not enough kids, not enough young people. So we started teaching young people in Vietnam and in Uzbekistan Finnish language. And fortunately, it's pretty easy to learn Finnish. So it took 6 months, you get to this B1.1 level of Finnish language proficiency. Then you can apply to high school, you get accepted, you come to Finland, you do high school, you do university, and you stay for a happy life. And now, 5 years later, very successful. We have more than 2,000 young people in more than 100 schools. And when you ask these young people that have come now from, Vietnam, Thailand, Brazil, Tanzania,
So let me say that you built a bridge based on education.
Yes, exactly. And this is something that is, I think that, again, education is the only way we can build sustainable growth. And if you look at Europe, I mean, Finland and Greece, yes, we have this problem, but if you look at Germany, Germany needs 7 million new German people by 2035. And they are also very active, pursuing this. So they are training people here and there and then bringing them to Germany, because it's very difficult to be German if you don't speak the language.
Yeah,
it's very difficult to be Greek if you don't speak the language, or Finnish.
It's a difficult language.
Yes.
Peter, do you believe that this model can fit to the Greek market also?
Absolutely, absolutely. And this is exactly what we're working on now. I think that we have now built the experience. We know that the model works. And one thing that we also want to do, we want to work together to improve the educational system. So what we have done already with, for example, we started a project with Slovakia because they have some challenges, but let's not go there. And we actually have trained teachers. And we are also training teachers in Ukraine. So getting ready for the reconstruction and like really building strong educational system. And we have some history here because early 90s, when Estonia regained its independence after many years of Russian oppression, then we had Kari Niinistö. So he was the professor in charge for teacher education at the University of Turku in Finland.
Okay.
And Kari went to Tartu University in Estonia, and then he worked with Jaak Aaviksoo, the rector, and together they redefined the teacher education for Estonia based on the Finnish model. And now, 30 years later, fantastic education. Okay, it was not only that, but the point is that it takes a long time and you need to invest in the teachers. So right now I have already talked to many of the principals in the schools in Finland and teachers that we will do this kind of like exchange. So principals from Finland coming here to work with principals in the Greek schools, teacher exchange, student exchange. So we can improve the level of the educational system, and we can also bring additional young people from all over the world. We will teach them Greek language, the life skills that you need here in Greece, and then we can start addressing this demographic problem and making sure that we'll have fantastic talent in Greece.
It's a very interesting approach. You have started your project, or you intend to start?
I'm actually here to start it.
Okay.
So we have already started discussions with local partners and local entrepreneurs. So we think that this is a fantastic model for Greece, and we have like the track record now to show that it works. And what is really important here, that when I ask the young people what they think about like school and their new life in Finland, then all of them, 99% will say that they are happy. And of course, happiest country and all that, so not a surprise. But then I ask that, okay, why? Can you tell me more? And then they will say, best teachers ever. I say, okay, why do you think so? Why are the teachers, so good here? Then they say that because the teachers are at your level, they are your equal. They are not like somewhere up here and talking down to you, but they are more like coaches, more like mentors. And of course, in a world of AI and technology and all that, this is what teachers need to do. We need to help the young people learn how to learn. So I always say that in Finland it's not about teaching, it's about learning. And this is what makes the educational system fantastic. So this is what the young people that come from the other countries, that they really love, because they can have fantastic education, school and life. So and balance.
Peter, Greece has a strong culture and background of civilization and culture and education.
Exactly.
We speak here a lot about education and schools, and I think you should pitch the Greek government about this.
Yes, okay? That's what I want to do. And when I met actually briefly with your Prime Minister when I was here for the Panathinaia event, and I think that we have a very, very shared vision and see the same problem there, and I see it as an opportunity. And also I think that we had this, there was this Prime Minister summit that we had Finland, Sweden, and then it was Italy and Greece. So it was this north-south Prime Minister meeting, and I think this is something that we should do more. I mean, yes, geography, south and north, but all that, but I think we have many things in common. Yeah. And in Europe, we should really work together. That's why we have the EU in the first place, that we can learn from each other, we can work together, and we can make the EU stronger.
You have a great experience. Slush is fantastic. I like it a lot. I had the chance to visit it.
Yes.
Okay. So participating to Panathinaia as a mentor or as a consulting.
Yes.
Do you think this is going to help you with your plans to make collaborations with the local ecosystem?
Yes, and I think that this is also the reason why we are doing Panathenia, and that's why we started Slush. Because in 2007, I gave a talk to 600 students at Aalto University, and about my entrepreneurial journey. I started at the original tech startup that Bill and Dave started in a garage, Palo Alto, California, 1939. So that was like HP, Bill and Dave Hewlett, Bill Hewlett and Dave Packard, and they not only started HP in that garage, but they started the whole Silicon Valley. And the model is very simple. I mean, you meet like Bill and Dave at Stanford or one of the universities, then, like their professor suggested that why don't you start a company? They went to their garage and okay, HP happened. After HP, Intel, Apple, Google, Sergey and Larry, they met also at Stanford, then they went to Susan Wojcicki's garage, Menlo Park, and Google happened. So
education is a source.
Exactly, because that's where you find the young people, and now with Panathenia, same thing that, and with Slush. So I was talking about all of this to the 600 students at Aalto, and then in 2007, when I asked them that, how many of you want to start a company, join a startup? Only 3.
3 only?
Yeah, 3. So then I was like, what? Like everybody wants to go and work for Nokia, Kone, Wärtsilä, one of the big like corporations or the government. And I say, nothing wrong with that. But if the young people all want to have a good job and maintain the status quo, we will be like Japan, no progress.
So this motivated you a lot.
Exactly. And then we started Slush, and then 5 years after we started Slush, back to Aalto, same question, more than half the hands went up. And now there was just a study last week, all young people in Finland, more than half want to start a company. So it's massive change. And it's the same that we need to do here in Greece, all of Europe, actually. It's very, very important. And the thing with Slush, that the world is full of what I call wannabe Silicon Valleys and wannabe Silicon Valley events. I mean, I was in Tanzania, there is, Dar es Salaam, there is Silicon Dar, and it's a short stretch of road where all the tech companies are. And wherever you go, there's Silicon this, Silicon that. And of course, I started in Silicon Valley, so I know the model, that you meet at the university, then you go to your garage, magic happens. So that's like Silicon Valley. And that's how it works. But the thing is, so with Slush, we wanted to change, like this whole thing. And with Panathenia, same thing. So now we need to go to all the 24 university campuses here in Greece. We need to put the young people in charge.
You should. And because now the mentality is also changing in Greece. After the crisis, many people want to have a company or to be entrepreneurs.
Yes.
And I think that the second version of Panathenia is going to focus more on education and civilization too.
Yeah. And what is, like always when you have crisis, then you have opportunity, because then people wake up. And I think this is something that is very important, and why Greece will have fantastic future, because I think that now you have that mindset. And with Panathenia, this is what we want to do. And if you look at Slush, Slush is now the biggest and best startup event on the planet. And last year, as I said, we had over 4 trillion, so 4,000 billion in venture capital. So that's like more than anywhere else, anytime.
And this is based a lot on volunteers.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly. And the thing is, the biggest and best startup event, like we organize it in November in Helsinki. And when you come to Helsinki in November, it's cold, it's dark, and there is slush on the ground. So it's not the Silicon Valley, it's better. It's much better because it's different, and it's different because
unique.
Young people run it. The biggest and best startup event is done and delivered by young people. Last year we had 1,600 volunteers from more than 60 countries, including Greece. And this is basically what makes Slush fantastic. And it's the exact same model with Panathenia. Young people, Lefteris and his team, they are running it. And I have
great guys.
Fantastic, young, very talented Greek people. And hopefully we can also bring people from the region to work on Panathenia. So I think there's no doubt in my mind that it will be the biggest event here in the region. So biggest in Greece, but also biggest, in the neighborhood.
So you are going to help more on this?
Yes. I'm very committed. That's why I'm here now, third time this, and I will be back. So yes.
Peter, you are so passionate with this, and I would like to ask you, from Angry Birds and Slush, you know how to scale up things, okay? Yeah. Is there a rule for this, or because many entrepreneurs are going to listen to our discussion? Yeah.
I think that the most important rule is that you need to bring on board people that are smarter, better, younger than you. Okay, so I think that is one trick, both with Angry Birds and with Slush, and I think with any successful company, that it's not about one person. I mean, my job is inspire, set the goals. We're going to make it the biggest and best, and raise the ambition level. And I think that this is important for Europe, because many times when I meet with young European people, it's always that how can we compete with the people from Stanford, Harvard, MIT, or Chinese that because we are here in Europe. And I said that of course we can, because we have fantastic talent, of course, but we have fantastic schools, fantastic universities, but what we lack many times is the mindset. I mean, people say, that here in Europe there's so much regulation, bureaucracy, and not enough money. If I was in America, I would be successful.
Yeah, because many people say that Europe is behind the USA and China on terms of AI, for example.
Yeah, but it's not really true. I mean, we are building fantastic companies also in AI. I mean, the fastest growing, lovable, Stockholm, Sweden, last time I checked, Europe. Yeah. And I think that we need more role models. And actually what happened now because of Slush in Finland, and I talk about the finest Bay Area, Finland, Estonia, Sweden, we have the highest number of startups per capita. We have the highest number of unicorns per capita. We have the highest amount of venture capital invested into local startups per capita in the world. So we're ahead of the US, ahead of China. And I think that in Europe, we just need to basically start doing things. We can always complain, and I always ask then, when somebody said, I would be successful if I was in America, and I said,
and in Greece we complain a lot.
I know, everywhere, all of Europe, and the thing is that and then I always ask, so have you started a company in the US ever? So do you think that it's easy? It's not easy, but I mean, it's the mindset. You start a lot of companies, most of them fail. That's just how it goes. But then, also in the US and any successful, let's say, startup ecosystem, failure comes with the business. So of course, most startups fail. That's just the way it goes. We never talk, or not so much talk about that. We talk about the success stories. But you have to accept that you are not always successful. Many companies fail, and then you try again, and it's okay. There's nothing wrong. It's very important that you do things. The worst thing is to just, not do. If you have the best education, who cares if you don't do anything with that? So we need entrepreneurship.
Many mistakes makes you better.
Yes.
In terms of investments, because I know you are also an investor, do you think that the Greek market is interesting?
It's very interesting, and of course many of the reasons that we discussed. I mean, after the crisis, now with Panathinaia, changing the mindset, you have Lefteris and many talented young people that now they want to change the world. They want to change Greece. So I really believe that it's the job of us, slightly older people. We should keep old people and governments out of the way while young people change Greece. And I think that there are many opportunities. We will see many success stories. Because again, you have so many talented young people, and I think that we always look at the diaspora, and people have left Greece. But now, creating opportunities here, I mean, you can enjoy fantastic lifestyle. So if you have opportunity, all the Greek people that I've met, US and elsewhere, they want to leave and they want to come back to Greece.
And now we have also Greek funds.
Yes.
And angel investors from abroad. For example, Lars was talking to me. He invests in Greek startups who are not only on the Greek market, but they are based on the Greek market. Okay, so closing this discussion, I would like to ask you, where do you see the biggest opportunities for young founders?
I think that opportunities are everywhere. And again, I mean, if you look at Angry Birds, I mean, Angry Birds started as a student project. I did a game making competition. I was working at HP, and then, Niklas, Kim, and Jarno, they took part in the competition, won. Then they came to me and they asked that, okay, Peter, we won this game making competition in 2003, long time ago. And then they said that, what should we do? And I said that you should do what you love to do, so make games. Why don't you start a company? And do what you love. They started Rovio, and then it took 51 attempts, 51 games, and 6 years, and then 52nd game Angry Birds, and then that became fastest growing consumer brand ever, and all of that. And I always say that if 3 young students in Helsinki in Finland can do that, there's absolute no reason why 3 students here in Athens or Thessaloniki in Greece, why they couldn't do the same. And the point that I'm trying to make that the opportunities are everywhere, because if you would have said I don't know, 30 years ago or 20 years ago that, oh, Finland will become like this superpower in like gaming. And it's like, yeah, right, you know, like, yeah. So yeah.
The game tech industry now is huge.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And it's changing, and many people are focused on this now.
Yes.
Young people with talent.
Yes. And actually, this week I have with me a game studio from Finland. But the co-founder actually moved from the US to Finland 5 years ago, and he's half Greek. Okay. And he set up his game studio in Finland because, lots of talent, lots of opportunity, and of course, another big reason is that his wife is Finnish. So that's classical
the biggest
story.
reason.
But then you know, now we're going to set up also, you know, development here in Greece. So then, you know, he can spend half the year in Athens, and the other year, you know, half of the year in Helsinki. And I think that we have a lot of opportunity to bring new companies here to Greece because there's a lot of talent, and we will make sure that there's also, you know, more young people coming to
as
Greece
digital
for
nomads,
education.
for example.
Yes, and also, you know, like through the education that we start the finest future model, so we can, you know, populate the schools and like all of that. But then I think that there will be many companies set up, because once you have a few success stories, you know, be it in gaming. What happened when we were successful with Angry Birds, then, you know, Ilkka and the guys at Supercell were looking at us, if the Rovio guys can do that, so can we. And then they did, and they built something that is 10 times bigger, and it became the first decacorn in Europe, and now many successful companies in games. And I think that the same thing will happen here, and you know, it can be in games, it can be in AI, it can be in like any area.
But should we give more incentive or financial incentives to these companies?
I think that
we have started to do this.
Let's say that I don't think that it's that important. I think that the most important thing is that you make it very easy to set up a company, run a company. So you should get rid of, you know, the bureaucracy. We need to fight, you know, some of these like bad tendencies and behaviors. So I think that this is something that the government needs to do. But then I think that on the incentive side, I think that, you know, there's already lots of capital. You have many VCs, a lot of investors. So that is not really a problem. And if you have a great idea, you're building a great company, the money will find you. So that is not the problem. But we need to have more great companies, and this is what Panathenea is doing, and now what we are also
building
doing,
ecosystems and the right mentality.
Exactly. So I'm very bullish about like you know, future of the like Greek ecosystem, and I think that you can expect to see many big success stories coming out over here. And you know, the future is of course all about the young people, and you have fantastic young people, and I think that you will have even more. So it's going to be really exciting to see that.
So Peter, I think you are a role model on this mentality, and thank you very much for the discussion. We have a very popular list here in Greece, 40 under 40, 40 entrepreneurs under 40 who innovate, and most of them are entrepreneurs. Okay, so I always ask from guys to share 3 advice that are useful for their career. If you can check the camera and share 3 advice with us.
Yes, so I think that for any successful entrepreneur, I think that the most important thing is the doing. For me, entrepreneurship is all about getting things done. And I always say that, you know, there's even like this rule that don't think, do, think. And what I mean by that is that we can always analyze and we can always think about stuff, but the most important thing is to go out there and learn and then do some more, you know. So that's one thing. But if I need to condense into 3, I would say that attitude, ambition, and getting it done.
Great, Peter. So thank you very much for this discussion.
Hey, thank you. It was great. Thank you.